From New York City to Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and here at the Pentagon today, the nation reflecting on the tragic events of September 11th. Tribute showing that Americans will never forget the nearly 3,000 lives taken that day. Well, tonight at 7 News on Your Side's Christian Flores is at the Pentagon after speaking with a man who survived the attack there. 21 years later, he is still making sure that he honors those who did not make it out.
Walking around the 9/11 Pentagon Memorial provides a somber reminder of the tragedy and sacrifice from that day 21 years ago to this day. 184 benches light up the night sky, one for each victim. One man whose name was almost etched into one of these benches because he was almost killed in the Pentagon attack and who has since become a Texas state lawmaker tells me he uses this day as a reminder to not take his fellow Americans' loss in vain.
We honor and remember, but we don't wallow in it.
This time of year is a mixed bag of emotions for Texas State Senator Brian Birdwell. He says he's proud of his military service, which eventually led him to working in the Pentagon as a lieutenant colonel, serving as an aide to a flag officer. But on the morning of September 11th, 2001, he ended up in the thick of one of the attacks.
So I'm 15 to 20 yards for the nose of the aircraft, makes impact with the building.
He quickly lost his balance due to the huge blast from the plane's impact.
80-ton bomb blowing up next to you.
Here, he nearly joined the 184 lives lost in the Pentagon.
I'm set ablaze. I was a 60% total body burn, tossed around in the hallway like a rag doll. And I began screaming at them to leave me alone. And then, in my heart, I know I'm telling them to leave me there to die because touching me is just agonizing.
It took Birdwell 4 years of hospital visits to get close to a full recovery, given the severity of his injuries. He earned a Purple Heart along the way. And while his country honors him now, he often thinks about everyone who was killed and injured, not just in the attacks, but in the response and aftermath.
We remember the loss that day, but we, and the wounded. I wasn't lost that day, but we remember the wounded. But we also remember the lost and the wounded with life-altering injuries from those that responded, not just responded, domestically in the country, but those that responded to, Afghanistan, Iraq, Djibouti, the Philippines.
And this honor comes with a toll for Birdwell more than 2 decades later.
My physical hurt, has been over for quite some time. The emotional hurt takes a long period of time.
At the Pentagon, Christian Flores, 7 News.